Hello and welcome to another colourful edition of A Splash of Paint, brought to you in association with the SAA. Today's programme is a vibrant collection of practical demonstrations and exercises to inspire your artistic passion and encourage you to try something new. So settle back and join us for 60 minutes of the latest creative tips and techniques from some of today's most popular leading artists. Let's get started and take a look at what's on today's packed palette. Malcolm Cudmore shows us how a burnisher and blender can enhance your drawings and give the perfect polished finish. We join leading pastel artist Vic Bearcroft as he guides us through today's stunning Try Your Hand At project and demonstrates how black velour paper can help create a captivating zebra. We go out and about with Fraser Scarf as he takes a closer look at one of the most popular artists of the 19th century who influenced the whole world of art. Renowned SAA professional artist Warren Seeley returns to reveal some of his favourite things, and we'll be showcasing the works of another up-and-coming SAA professional artist and tutor, Julie Nash, in our regular introducing feature. But before all that, I'm going to show you a quick watercolour project. I've prepared this basic landscape and distant hills. I put some cold greens at the back and warm greens at the front to give distance. I'd like to show you how to paint some distant fields and hedgerows very simply. We're going to start off with a straight edge piece of card there, and I'm going to use the small tree and texture brush, okay? And I'm just going to clean this through and mix up some distant colours. So we're going to go for like a grey, natural grey, this one, mixed with some burnt sienna to give us a sort of warm browny hedgerow colour. Give it a bit of a stipple and take some of the excess away on a piece of tissue so it's not dripping in colour. Do the drip test. And we'll lay this down at a convenient place, probably halfway in this green area. I'm going to go in and we're going to stipple and just work across this edge and then leave a gap for the gateway, pick up some more colour and just work across. And of course eventually I need to move that as well. Put it over there. And let's take that all the way across very quickly. Obviously varying the heights. It's very much a stipple action for this. And then I'm going to use the other side of the brush. So almost turn the brush the other way. So it's the tall hairs that are working at the bottom. And we're going to start to go up the hillside with this. So using a slightly finer edge. You can almost rotate the brush and get different heights to the hedges and things like that. And we're going to take it up to almost a point until it almost fades away and you start to see that first edge row going up there. I'll continue this. As long as the card's not seeping down the back, it will continue to work. I'll bring one coming this way. Again, use the brush upside down, put the right into the bottom, and it'll give you the nice skinny hedgerow effect. And again, we'll just sort of finish it off with a point. And then I'll bring one coming down there. You can almost be random with these. A good bit of advice is to follow the angles of the hill. So it's just a stipple and a tap and move along. It's not putting all that much paint on now, which is quite nice for this. You can see how it's starting to give us a nice effect. One more of those, and that's just going to go up there. So I'm starting down from the base, so I'll do a larger one, and then I'll rotate the brush using the thinner side of it until it almost disappears up into the hill there. And then we can just pull one lower down, so we could just put one there, let's say. Starting off from the hedgerow, same colour, and then just make it slightly larger as it comes off the side of the picture. Just going to mix a wee bit more colour there. Grey, burnt sienna. And then work it across. Make it larger as it comes off the side of the paper there. And you can see how it's created a basic hill and field picture. I'm going to use a size 6 brush. And I'm going to use a little bit of water and a little bit of natural grey. Bags of water for the grey. Wipe it over the tissue first, make sure it's not soaking in colour. And we can just take away those distant fields with a normal brush and use your finger just to get them working out. And then every so often just pull one working into the shape of the field, but do them at different angles and almost closer together. And what this will do is this will take these fields and hedgerows up the side of the hillside, and then just a couple of shadows coming off from the foreground area, and a couple of shadows just on the base of some of those hedgerows lower down. And you can even make an impression of a bit of an opening there. Just get a bit of water on that, and then just smudge it away. Then a nice finishing touch, I mean you can see the effect, is to get a little bit of the burnt sienna colour, the colour we used for the tree brush work, and just ever so lightly on those ones that you just painted in, just ever so lightly creep it back, just the odd little gentle flick working into those areas. It just carries the colour through, and literally a nice thing would be to use a little skinny brush like a size 2 or a rig or something like that, and some natural grey, quite thick. Natural grey is great for the shadows, but also great for detail. It would let you put a little bit of a nice countryside gate on your picture there. Just drop it in a few little fence posts, just to give that nice impression of distant fields there. And that would be a nice painting by itself, but also a nice part of a landscape picture. Well folks, it's nearly time for a quick break now, but before we go, let's just join popular pencil wizard Malcolm Cudmore as he demonstrates how you can add a touch of magic to your drawings and give them that perfect polished finish.
Hi, I'm going to say something about blending, because there is a special pencil that coloured pencil artists use called a blending pencil. And there are two ways of blending with coloured pencil. You can either lay dry colour, one on top of another, or you can use this rather special pencil for physically mixing them on the paper, and I'll show you how. I'm going to blend two colours together. I have a yellow and a blue here, fairly bright colours, each one of them. One way of blending them is to simply do it optically by laying one colour on top of another, so that a bit of the paper shows through still. And the effect of adding the yellow onto the blue creates in the eye a shade of green. Now, if you like textures and you like the marks that pencils make, leave it like that. However, if you want to mix those colours together, actually physically mix them on the paper, and this is a fairly rough surfaced cartridge paper, by the way, which is why with my fairly light pencil strokes the pencil is sort of skipping over the surface of the paper rather than going right into all the indentations. Now this is a blending pencil. Essentially in the centre of a blending pencil is the waxy medium that's used to contain the pigment in a coloured pencil, but without any pigment, and probably something that's slightly abrasive, because if I now move this over the surface, it has the effect of, because it's slightly abrasive, it lifts the top layer of colour, mixes it together, and the sort of waxy point of the pencil sort of pushes it back into the paper again, and creates a bit of dust. But that's physically blended the two colours on the paper. Another specialist pencil used by coloured pencil artists is a burnisher. Once again, the burnisher doesn't actually have any colour in it, but it contains the waxy, hard waxy core of a regular coloured pencil, and it's used to do something quite similar to polishing your shoes. If I apply dry pencil pigment to the paper, like so, and I want to make a nice rich colour, so I'm going to add a bit more of a warmer red on top of this crimson. Okay, although you can still see some of the white, little white grains of the paper showing through. With a burnishing pencil, I'm going to be adding a bit more of that waxy medium, literally polishing the wax pigment that I put onto the paper. Has the effect of making the colour very slightly richer, and it also removes some of the pencil marks that you're making. Botanical artists often use this when they're doing flowers and fruit and things, to give you that kind of rich bloom on certain fruit, seeds, etc. So that's 2 specialist pencils available to the colour pencil artist. Not necessary to use them, but if you like those really rich, nicely blended effects, ideal for you.
Thanks, Malcolm. They really are the perfect tools for softening edges and giving a subtle sheen to your pencil work. Well, folks, it's time for a quick break now, but join us in part 2 for today's Try Your Hand At project, when leading pastel artist Vic Bearcroft shares his secret techniques for painting the amazing zebra. I'll see you soon.